Strength training, you already know it's amazing. It's the best form of exercise to shape and sculpt your body, build muscle, burn body fat. It's great for health. That's awesome, but it can be complicated. Here's what we did. We're gonna give you the 8 lifts, that's it. Just these 8 lifts. If you just did these and that's it, you get an amazing physique with balance, muscle, strength, functionality, fat loss. You'd look great. We're gonna break them down. Here we go.
I mean, I saw this list and I would make the argument that you could damn near just do these 8 things for the rest of your life and you'd be
that was the goal.
You would be pretty well balanced, not just looks wise, but functional and health. This is it right here. Like you literally, if you just did and what's great about them, not to get ahead on all of them and so like that, but they all have a lot of room for improvement, you know, and treated like a skill. Like improving upon the not just the strength of them, but the movement of them. Like, boy, these would you would reap so many benefits from
there's a few things, right, to consider. Obviously, how you look.
Should write a program called the Grade 8.
That's hey, maybe
Grade 8. Got a ring to
it. You want the exercises that build the muscle, that give you the look, that help burn body fat, but you also want functionality, even if you're not an athlete, because if you don't focus on functionality, over time, you'll develop problems.
Longevity.
And then you're not able to do all these great exercises. Yeah. So you want that as well. And also, functionality contributes to symmetry and balance in a physique, so you don't end up looking imbalanced or causing problems in that direction. So we literally picked the exercises that, again, like what Adam said, if you just did this forever, you'd be good.
Yeah.
You'd be great. So, and we wanted to simplify it because strength training can be very complex. Like strength training programming can be some of the most technical programming that exists when it comes to exercise. Other forms of exercise, they benefit from good programming as well, but they can be a lot easier to figure out than strength training. So we simplified it, and we picked the best exercise that covers all your body, your entire body, and different ways of moving, different planes of motion. And so we'll start with the first one, okay? We'll start with the king. They call us the king of all exercises, the squat. Yeah. Now, why did we pick the squat over a leg press or another machine or even another lower body exercise? Well, the squat involves pretty much the entire body. You have to have good core stability. You have to have good thoracic strength and mobility to hold the bar. And then when you squat, you get this real great full range of motion that strengthens all of the muscles of the lower body from the hips all the way down to your ankles and even your feet if you perform them properly. And the squat will develop an incredible lower body, but also an upper body that can support the lower body. So it gives you all of that stuff. So they call it the king of exercise for a reason. And that is because it produces incredible gains.
And you could spend years consistently doing this.
It's always going to give you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm a great squatter. I'm a good squatter.
Yeah.
I've been working at it for a really long time. And that's not a bad thing. It's great that that movement is so valuable, so complex. And the longer that I can continue working towards being a great squatter, I can continue to reap benefits from it. And so it offers a lot, total body wise, muscle building wise, functional wise, and improvement wise, which is, I think, why it's been crowned the king of all movements.
Yes. And even when it comes to just building muscle, it's a phenomenal exercise for building muscle. There is pretty much no exercise that'll compete with the squat, generally speaking, for developing the lower body, from the glutes to the hamstrings of the quads. You even get ankle mobility and some calf involvement.
It's a primal movement pattern.
That's right.
This is just one of those fundamental exercises you have to include. I mean, even to the point of like mechanistically, there's pressure, internal pressure within your body, and this helps to depressurize, all of that just by sitting in that squat. And so there's all these like benefits to squatting that people don't even realize.
I'm so glad you said it was foundational. If you don't squat and train this, you'll lose this ability, even if you leg press all the time. So you could leg press for your entire life, develop strong legs, and not be able to do a good squat. Now the reverse is not true. If you practice squats and get good at them, you'll always be able to get on a leg press and perform a leg press. You'll always be able to get on a hack squat and do a hack squat. You'll always be able to do all those movements. But because it is foundational, it contributes so much to everything else. And then from a development standpoint, if you're just interested in that, you really can't compete with the barbell squat. Next, we have the deadlift. This is picking something up off the ground. Another foundational
very
movement.
close second.
Yes.
I mean,
Make arguments for both.
I've made arguments. We've had podcast episodes where we've debated this, and I've actually made the case that I think the deadlift is the ultimate, just purely because how much we do in the anterior plane and how much we neglect the posterior chain.
Yep.
And it's not that the squat doesn't include that also, but it's a little more anterior driven than it is posterior driven. And I think that focusing on all those, that entire backside just brings people back into better posture and alignment. And then it also carries a lot of the similar benefits as the squat does. So I can make the case that this is 1 and 2 are interchangeable, right?
To counter, it's such a great point to counter daily life. I mean, movement patterns, they're all anteriorly driven. So it's like, this is such a great counter to that.
And if you get good at deadlifting, and don't neglect other planes of movement, that's important as well, which we'll get to. But if you get good at deadlifting, you get pretty close to bulletproofing your back. Yep. I mean, low back issues are so, and I know some people are like, oh, deadlifts are bad for your low back. No, they're not. A properly performed deadlift is amazing for your deadlift. Not improperly performed deadlift is like an improperly performed any other exercise where the risk starts to skyrocket.
It's got to be appropriate, yeah.
But if you do it right, good control, good stability, the right amount of weight, challenge yourself, you're going to develop strong hips. You're going to develop a really solid, strong low back, a strong mid back. You're going to activate your lats. Your grip is involved. You have an isometric contraction of the biceps even. And it develops a nice looking physique. I can often tell when somebody doesn't deadlift when I look at their back. I can tell when somebody just does other back exercise. You can see it in the lack of depth.
Dude, it's impossible to build holding a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Whatever argument somebody wants to make, it's just like if you're holding a substantial amount of weight, your body's going to form into that.
Totally. Next up is the overhead press. I mean, standing overhead press. When you push a weight overhead, this was, by the way, for a long time, this was the way that strength athletes demonstrated their strength. This is how they competed. It didn't matter what else you could do. If you could pick something up over your head, then you're pretty strong. And let's see who could do the most with that weight. That's what strength athletes did for a long time. It is a shoulder exercise, but when you're standing and you're pressing something overhead, you got to be stable. Yeah. The whole base has to be stable to press up overhead. So you have to have strong lower body stability. You have to have good core stability. This promotes incredible shoulder function. The scapula has to move in a good way with the humerus. You have to have good mid-back stability to press straight up overhead. It involves the triceps. It's an exceptional. It's actually the most functional pressing movement.
The pinnacle upper body exercise.
I think we do it a disservice by calling it a shoulder exercise.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. It is the squat of the upper body.
Literally.
It would be like calling a squat a quad exercise.
Yeah.
And leaving it at that when it's like it's so much more than that. The overhead press is the squat of the upper body, and it incorporates so much of your upper body and requires so good of mobility and stability to do that, especially a full range of motion, right? All the way down, all the way up, full extension, and the ability to stabilize with your core in that standing position. I mean, it is far more than just a shoulder exercise. And to call it just a shoulder exercise does it disservice, because you would never call a squat just a quad exercise.
That's right.
Yeah, any weak point in the kinetic chain will get exposed really quick with this exercise. And I think that's why we hold it to such a high regard, because you really do have to put a lot of work in to pull it off.
And it's also, we talk about a lot. We tell a lot about our personal journey in working in gyms and the evolution of, how cool it was to see the squat getting introduced to that. I'd actually say that the standing overhead press is still neglected.
It is.
It is.
I don't see it very often.
I'm going to say it's the squat of the 90s.
Yep.
Right in the 90s when we saw the squat
totally
squat racks, dust all over it, nobody ever doing it. You could still go to the gym today, a commercial gym with lots of people working in it, and actually not see an overhead press done.
No.
I mean, think about that for a second. I mean,
it's true.
And we talk about it as being the squat of the upper body. It is that valuable. It's that fundamental. It's that good for you to get good at it. Yet it's being utilized like squats were 20 years ago.
Well, just to give an example, an athlete who could do a standing overhead press with 135 pounds with good technique, good stability, is going to be more dangerous on the field than a guy that could seated overhead press 185 pounds or even 200 pounds. That's how much more functional it is, because when you're pressing like that, you got to have everything else supporting you.
Yeah.
You know, you're not just sitting and pressing something up. Now, seated presses are great. They hit the shoulders, and the bench is kind of holding you steady. It's a good bodybuilding exercise. But move to overhead press and see what happens. First of all, you won't lose shoulder size, but what you will gain is a stronger kinetic chain all the way through. Great observation, Adam. I agree 100%. Today's program giveaway is Maps Anabolic. If you want to win, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll notify you in the comments section. Also, we have a free quiz for advice. This is for ladies. Go to musclemommymovement.com/quiz. Do the fast, quick, free quiz. Find out which avatar you fall under: the comeback queen, the efficient powerhouse, the strength novice, or the lifestyle integrator. Get some personalized advice. It's a free quiz. Go check it out. Back to the show. Next up, we have the incline press. Now, you could say bench press would be in there, but I'll argue that the incline press, both from an aesthetic perspective, it'll develop a nicer looking chest, and also from a functional perspective, there's more carryover into the real world, because when you tend to be pressing things, you tend to lean into them and not lean away from them. But mostly this is just aesthetic. Like if you only ever did incline presses, you'd have a nicer looking upper body than if you only ever did bench press.
No rebuttal from me. I've been arguing for the incline press over the flat bench press for so long. You get a better range of motion. The average client, their technique and form will be naturally better because it just puts you in a more advantageous position when you go get into it. The aesthetic reasons to building the upper shelf of the chest, I think, like you're making right now.
Functionally risk reward, and I went through this a lot, because I definitely hold the bench press, up there as like one of the main ones to focus on. But in terms of that, like having just that grade of incline, like really sets your shoulders up in a nice position. Like you can really load it substantially, so you get all the benefits, just a little bit less risk.
I almost never flat bench ever anymore. I mean, even if I might play with the degrees of the bench, where I might go down to like 15 degree and like it is like kind of a lower incline, but I never do completely flat anymore. Incline bench and maybe just a little bit lower than like your traditional 45 or whatever what the gyms are set at. That to 15 to 45 playing in that degree for me is all I ever do anymore.
Next up is a row. Rowing is one of the best back exercises you could do. Now, why a row? Why not a pull down or a pull up? Well, all great exercises, and I think pull ups are phenomenal. But people mostly lack, or the issues that what you tend to see with people's back mobility and strength and stability, oftentimes is in the mid back. Forward shoulder is quite common. You row and you row well, you're going to have good, healthy thoracic strength. Whereas you could do tons of pull-ups, which is also great, but you could actually not solve forward shoulder by just working the lats, which is what that exercise does. Again, pull-ups are great. It's actually, if I had to make 10 exercises, it would probably be in there. But a row, if I had to pick a back exercise,
for an antagonist, you had to all this chest work and overhead work. This is perfect.
I mean, rowing was always staple with clients, beginners, every client.
I don't think I know. There's not a single client that I didn't do row was always,
regardless of their level.
Yeah, exactly. Didn't matter the goal level we're at. Like a row is a staple movement, and that I don't think ever left a program for me. I mean, I might do some variation of it. I might move and rotate different types with dumbbell, barbell, some machine stuff. But it's like that's a staple movement that is in every client's programming at every level, regardless of the goal.
That's right. And next up, we need something for lateral strength, moving side to side. Like we just named some great exercises, but if you just did those, you would lack lateral strength, which you would get away with for a little while, but eventually you'd run into problems. Eventually you'd run into hip problems, maybe some knee problems, maybe some back problems, because you need that lateral strength and stability. And I think the best exercise for this is a lateral sled drag. It's extremely functional. It connects everything together. It works all the muscles on the sides, but most importantly, it helps all those strong muscles communicate well laterally, and it keeps you healthy. And so I think if you're just going to do, again, all these exercises we list, you need to have something laterally, and I can't pick a better one than a lateral sled drag.
Yeah, and I mean, it just strengthens, supports those muscles, laterally. So you do it in a way that it's not so risky as well. So this is one of those things, if it's all in the concentric part of the contraction, like, we're not getting a whole lot of damage caused, which, anybody can do this. And it's one of those things too, you can even implement it like on a daily type of a routine. So I love it.
Well, I knew we'd have no debate from Justin on that. I mean, this is like his staple go-to.
I'm like such an evangelist for sled.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he tried to put this in every program we ever wrote, if I recall.
I did.
And he usually wins.
So here's how I look at, like, okay, so you've gone through these. Obviously, you wrote them kind of in order too. The first 5 are like the staple 5 of building the most aesthetic physique. In fact, you could just do the first 5 and you will build a great looking physique. Then I look at the last 3 that you put in, that you're going, and lateral sled drag.
This is like supporting it.
Exactly. This is what this is the health side. This is the side that's going to protect your joints and overall movement, the functional side. So it's like, I think most people are familiar with the big 5. We talk about the big 5 all the time. They tend to be anybody who writes a good programming will have the big 5. These last 3 are the 3 that will protect you forever, in my opinion.
Yes, because if you don't do them, those big 5 eventually.
Hips, knees, ankles. Yeah, we got to protect them.
You'll hit some issues. All right, next up, the windmill. This is a rotation exercise that moves you in different planes of motion. It really protects the spine. This is phenomenal for the spine, and it does address a weakness that you often see in people who deadlift and squat a lot, which is that strength in rotation, the strength in the QL.
There's a massive deficit in thoracic rotation.
Totally.
Yeah.
100%. In fact, if you don't do these, go try and do them without weight right now. If you work out a lot, and you're going to find you can't even do one without weight. Yep. And this is me. Like, if I don't practice these, I lose this ability. And when I lose this ability, I can tell.
You're restricted.
When I start training them, everything else does better.
This is such a good. I remember when we all first started kind of getting into it. I know Justin's been into it for a long time. It was really him who challenged us to do more of it. And I remember how glaring it was, like where the holes in my movement patterns were and the breakdown, because the thoracic mobility, the shoulder mobility and stability required to this, your ability to rotate equally on both sides, because what you'll find with a lot of people, they might be okay on one side, and then the opposite side will be really bad. Yeah. And that just gives you so much insight into probably why you have some chronic pain on one side, or why you're having issues, or you noticed imbalances. I feel like this really helps you recognize that. And then if you just make sure, if like the goal was, I just want to get great on both the left and the right side here, to where I can get them looking almost exactly the same. If you accomplish that, I'm willing to bet that you've got minimal to no chronic pain going on through most of your body. Because if you have a even and evenly distributed communication down the kinetic chain on both sides here equally, and you're equally strong on an exercise like this, you're probably pretty well balanced through your entire body in order to perform this movement.
If you're resilient to lateral and rotational forces, like, you could go so much further in your training. And again, back to like the lateral sled drag and all this for the lower body, it's like, if people just considered that fact alone, like, they would have so much more progress and less plateaus.
100%. Well, I also think of a lot of my clients, like this was definitely this highlighted too the weakness in my programming as a trainer. As an early trainer, even as I started to evolve and get better, I understood like balance aesthetically, but from the functional side of protecting clients. And I would always have clients get in, my strong clients that have been training for a long time and that I got in good shape and that were feeling some of the best of their shape, but they would injure themselves with the most basic stuff. It would be like picking a shampoo bottle, or pulling a weed in the garden, or reaching back to feed their kid in the back seat, or something so little and basic. And I remember early on, it baffled me, like, what's going on? I've got this client so strong. Really? They got hurt doing that? And this was because I lacked this in my programming. I lacked addressing this with those clients. And because I got them in good aesthetic shape and they felt strong, they were giving me all this feedback, I thought I was so on point with what I was doing. This wasn't something that came along until much later in my career, is understanding the importance of incorporating this into all clients' programming.
That's right. Last, we have a core exercise. It's the perfect sit-up. It's a flat on your back exercise where you slowly articulate each of the vertebrae in your lower back as you do a full sit-up. It works the obliques, works the core. It's very controlled, very low risk. I mean, if you just did this and you did this with good control, you would develop an incredible core, good musculature, good aesthetics, and good functionality, especially when you combine it with the windmill and the lateral sled drag, which really work with the lateral sides of the core. And again, you put all these 8 together. If this is all you did, if you broke this up throughout the week and all you ever did was practice these exercises for the next 15 years, you'd have a pretty darn good physique.
Yeah, bulletproof.
With a low risk of injury, so long as you perform that.
Dude, I'm so inspired right now to write a grade 8 program. I just think it's got a catchy name to it. It really is perfect. I mean, it'd be fun to write it in a very minimalist approach, right? So instead of like trying to like the ultimate program, it's like like a very
Keep
minimal,
it simple.
Yeah, very, very simple. Like you're saying, like you're just kind of practicing all these movements throughout the week to where you're spending very minimal time in the gym, but you're addressing all these movements. Oh, what a great, simple, solid program that you could spend years working towards and see incredible progress.
100%. All right, I got some interesting studies on you, for you.
On you?
On you guys. Studies on you. I got a study on you, Adam. For you.
Who paid for this?
For you. We've had cameras in your house for the last
wait a minute.
4 months. No. This is a study on probiotics, and this was a systematic review on probiotics for preventing and treating excess weight and obesity. So this is a review of 6 clinical trials. They found that 66% of the studies showed significant reductions in body weight and BMI. 80% of them, so a majority of them, reported decreased waist circumference, and both analyzed studies noted reduced total body fat mass from probiotics. Okay, so I'm going to put this in context for everybody. If you took all fat loss supplements, all supplements that say they help you lose fat, and you compared them with probiotics, based off of just this right here and more studies, I have more here, probiotics are the best fat burner.
It sounds like
they're the best fat burning supplement.
It's just funny to me,
isn't it?
It sounds like this is the most groundbreaking or cutting edge stuff that they're finding out about probiotics. We've known about probiotics for a long time. We know what it does for overall gut health. We've been touting that for a long time. But the last few times you've brought these studies up, they're related to fat loss. So is that because this is relatively new that we're figuring this out, and so there's more and more studies that are going in this direction? Because that really wasn't the focus.
Well, you know, when this started, what prompted this was they would take, remember those studies on mice where they took
the fecal matter studies.
That's right.
And they changed their,
all they did was they took a lean mouse and an obese mouse, and they took the microbiome of the lean mouse and literally put it in the obese mouse and changed nothing. The obese mouse got lean.
Yep.
And so vice versa too, right?
And they're like, what is going on here? Like, what is happening? So that prompted more and more studies in these reviews. And these reviews are crazy. There was a review that really tried to break, like, what's happening? What they're finding is, because they see lowered visceral fat, reduced body weight, less abdominal fat. They think it has to do with mechanisms that with enhanced energy expenditure. So healthy microbiome increases your metabolism, okay? There's appetite regulation. So a healthy microbiome reduces things like cravings. And then there's they also just see this, where it seems like your body is less likely to take those calories and store body fat. Because remember, your microbiome is what breaks the food down.
Yeah.
You have more bacteria cells
all around
in your gut than you have human cells in your whole body. I mean, you're basically more bacteria than human. So your microbiome plays this huge role in your health, which we've known, by the way. It's not even controversial.
Yeah, I've definitely heard a lot about the cravings being attributed to that.
It's so crazy. So we have a partner, Seed, and they're the best probiotic company in the world for many reasons. But the lead researchers in the world work for this company. They get it. They're ahead of the curve. They set the trends. They're the ones that conduct the research. They have, again, the best product. it's crazy because I can literally say that taking seed, a probiotic, is a fat loss supplement. We don't sell fat loss.
It's interesting that can they market it that way? Why don't they market it that way?
I don't know. That's interesting
Because if
you could show the studies and definitely
if it's outperforming anything and everything that's ever been marketed as fat loss.
All of them.
That's a trigger for people, right? Because there's still people buying fat loss pills that don't even work. That's how much how effective the marketing works. So interesting that they wouldn't promote it as that.
I don't know if you start to run into like potential issues or challenges that maybe they don't want to touch that, because fat loss as a category and of selling supplements, like you got to be careful because regulators love to hammer them for good reason. If you've listened to our podcast, if we talk about fat loss supplements, we'll typically talk about ones that build muscle, and indirectly you'll see some fat loss. We almost never promote like a quote unquote fat loss supplement or fat burner because they don't do that.
No.
Some of them will have stimulant effects.
Yeah, so just more of a stimulant.
Give you energy. Maybe they'll suppress your appetite for a little bit. But probiotics literally are fat loss supplements, which is wild. It's so wild to me.
Yeah, because it's like healthy. It's like, oh, we have a supplement.
What we're probably gonna see, Adam, touching on what you said, is I think over the next 5 years that will be how probiotics are advertised. I think everybody knows it's good for gut health. Then they start talking about mental health because you see benefits there. Skin health, we see benefits there. I think over the next 5 years, it's going to be fat loss because these studies are
it makes sense.
Yes.
If they're outperforming any supplement right now that's been marketed that way, and that's obviously a very good strategy for marketing something. So you would think that they would go that route.
They should. We're talking about.
Yeah.
So we'll start it.
Start the trend.
Anyway, I was going to ask you, Adam, about your how are your workouts going? Because I asked you.
Or the lack of them? Is that what you're saying?
You know why I'm saying this?
Yeah, let's hear it.
What was it yesterday or the day before? I'm like, hey, how's your workouts going? You're like, I barely have to do anything.
Yeah, I'm really bad right now. I'm really inconsistent. I'm on a one day a week.
You know why I'm laughing?
Maybe two.
Because you always say do the least amount of work to listen to the most amount of results.
I'm living the brand.
I think you're doing.
I'm living my brand.
I think you moved to a new level. I think it's the least amount of work to achieve the least amount of results.
No. Yeah, I am moving into the least amount of results real soon here. So
that's crazy. Once a week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Once.
And you're maintaining really well, dude.
You think so? Thank you.
Yeah, you are.
I appreciate that. I've definitely.
You don't look out of shape at all. That's not why I asked you.
I definitely see a difference when I lose. I can see that I can get away with the 1 or 2 day a week for a while, but after a while, I can tell. But what's nice is that I just got to kick it up a little bit, and then I'll notice that. And again, I think I've talked about this ad nauseum on the show, so I apologize if it's annoying to hear. But my relationship with diet in relation to exercise has really evolved in my 40s. I swear.
Oh, you don't let the diet go crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but admittedly, I guess I didn't even realize how much I actually struggle with that. I think I had a really hard time with, because I know you can relate to this, of always eating to build and to bulk and to be the big guy, because I was so insecure about being little. But what I think I realized, I never moved out of that. Until much later. Like I feel like I was always so afraid of missing protein. I was so I was always still pushing the calories, even if I was inconsistent on the lifting. And I would justify even overeating and treats and all the things because I'm like, oh well, I don't want to get small.
Oh yeah, I feel that.
And so so it took a long time. I mean,
so it's like you'd rather get fatter than lose. Same.
But logically, I don't think that. Like, if you ask me that, I'd be like, no. But I do. I recognized in my 30s, all the way into probably my 40s, that I was still eating those behaviors. I think I've brought it up before on the show where I remember one time I just, like Five Guys was always been a staple, even when I was competing. I included burgers and stuff into my diet. And so, burgers make their way into my diet on a regular basis. And the staple go-to is, I get 2 doubles plus, or the 2, double cheeseburgers or whatever. I was still ordering that, and I was finding myself like, oh my God, like so stuffed. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it's not even satisfied. I'm beyond satisfied, and so it took me a long time to even like realize like I'm not in full 240-pound training 7 day a week, Adam. What am I doing eating that way? And so the last 4 or 5 years, I've really gotten better about just being more self-aware of my eating patterns in relation to my
So
movement.
less energy expenditure, less energy intake.
Yeah. And it sounds so duh,
Yeah, no.
but for just again, admittedly, like I had created so many habits, behaviors around eating a certain way that I struggled with disconnecting or moving away from that when I probably should. And so I don't know how much somebody else can relate to that conversation, or even maybe on the other side, people have had that, right? Where, I mean, I think we see this with live callers who've been eating to be small for so long, you know, that even when they know they need a reverse diet or gain, they can't move out of that.
I think what happens with a lot of people is when they stop working out, then they say, screw the diet completely. That's probably what that's
that's how I've been. And so I've gotten much better about that is really going like, okay, like, you know, as much as I would love to enjoy that ice cream tonight, it's been a real low week of activity and this and that. Like, this is just not going to do it. And then the times where I am, it's like, okay, this is a day that I can enjoy that.
It's also muscle memory. I mean, I pulled up here, like, there's an epigenetic memory where you get modifications in your muscle cells, their DNA, when you build muscle, to where they kind of want to stay muscular. Even if you stop training, at the very least, you build them back very, very quickly. And so what this speaks to, and I'll speak to you, you know, just about you, since we're talking about you, Adam, you've built so much muscle in the past to the point where you were a professional competitor in the IFBB, that you had so much muscle, you've invested so much in the epigenetics that once a week for you produces a physique that most people would need to train, you know, 3-4 days a week to accomplish.
I think there's another factor that I think aligns with the grade 8 that we're talking about today too, is that I remember in my 20s, in my early lifting career, if I was like having this inconsistency where I'm on and fall off and then I'm consistent, then I'm not, I always went back to like training. I started with arms. I started with what I like to work out, where it's like sometimes I might just squat, but I'm definitely squatting. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely deadlifting, or I'm definitely like, I may not do a lot that week, but what I do
the important ones
are going to be the big movers. I don't mess around with any of the other bullshit, and unless if you start seeing me doing tricep push downs and bicep curls, and
it's your third or fourth workout.
Yeah, exactly. You can almost, if you see me doing that in here, you know I'm on workout 2 or 3 already that week. Because it's almost like a treat to me to get to do the fun machine type stuff. Otherwise, I go, you need to squat, Adam. You need to deadlift. You need to do those big movements. Get those in, and then I afford the right to kind of play around with the other exercises, and it tends to serve me really well.
You know what's cool about this? I saw this discussion on X. There were some exercise scientists that were talking about muscle memory, and the speculation or the argument or discussion was around whether or not using performance-enhancing substances and then going off them, whether or not you benefit from the muscle memory later.
Oh, I think
because there's always been this argument.
I know there's an argument right there, but I mean, personally,
bodybuilders.
I think it's.
So do I. Yeah. I think so, but you know what? There's a downside to it, right? If you use performance-enhancing substances to build a certain amount of muscle and then go off of them, and then you benefit from the muscle memory, you do run the risk of really hammering your hormone levels forever. So there's that side of it too. Sure. You know, the other side of it. So how's your training, Justin? I know you're getting back into it.
Yeah, I've been getting back into it. I mean, somebody asked me too, like if I increased my overhead press now since the series. I'm like, no, dude. Like, I'm substantially lower, dude. Yeah, like put 225 up every now and then just to mess around. But I don't like. I'm not pushing that hard.
Yeah, where are you going to go? 400?
Yeah, exactly. Now. It's like
we're done.
More. No, that was peak. I'm so functional right now. I'm like the biggest thing for me is to try and keep up with training with my son, and so I was actually more endurance focused right now. I'm like trying to like move in different directions and planes and just get back some more of that athletic type skill training. So I have actually been pretty frequent, at least 3 times a week, doing like real focused like sled work and a lot of kettlebell work and stuff like that. So it's a lot less of barbell training for me these days. But I'm just trying to feel like I can move and feel like I have stability and control.
I got to do more of that.
Yeah. I mean, I am too. That's actually kind of where I told you guys that my fantasy football league, they did a 40-yard dash to decide the draft order, and everybody was pissed.
You just accepted last.
Oh, I did. I opted out. I totally opted out, and everybody was so mad at me. Fitness guy doesn't do the 40-yard dash, you know. And I'm like, oh, because I know better.
Yeah,
I mean,
but tell us what happened.
Yeah,
Didn't you have
that's the
3 guys?
smart
that-
Oh, no, four. Okay, actually, so 5 guys actually did it. Okay, 5 guys did it. 5 guys opted not to do it. Or no, excuse me. 5 guys actually did it. 2 guys walked it just to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then there's 3 of us that didn't do it at all. Of the 5 guys that actually did it, 4 of the 5 got hurt.
Oh my God.
Pulled a groin, pulled a quad, pulled a hamstring, hip issue, like everybody. And those guys are all completely deconditioned. And I'm trying to explain this to them, was like going over all their heads, and they didn't want to hear it, right? Because they just want to talk shit to me. But what I was trying to get them to understand is like, I'm at more risk, believe it or not, to pull the hamstring than they are. I said, you guys are all weak.
Higher.
You guys are all hella weak. You have no horsepower. So the fact that you didn't pull a muscle is pathetic, right? So it's me talking. I'm like, me on the other hand, I'm still significantly stronger than all of you guys. And if I run, I do not train that athleticism at all. And so I'm more likely to pull and tear and do something than they are. And because
you generate so much force, but you haven't practiced the speed.
Yes.
Control.
And I'm very aware I am no business doing that.
Decelerating is
so I'm like, I was trying to explain that to them, and of course,
it's like when I tore my hammy in Hawaii.
Yeah,
it's just
I like that. Yeah.
No, it's the exact example. I mean, look how good a shape you're in aesthetically, right? Aesthetically, you're in
Thanks for saying aesthetic. Not the rest.
Yeah, aesthetically, you're in phenomenal shape. But then this is where the average person doesn't register. They think that like, oh well, then you should be in a way better situation than the deconditioned person when it comes to a sprint like that. It's like, no, not at all. In fact, he's more likely to hurt himself because he could deadlift 500 plus pounds. And you ask those hamstrings to go that fast explosively,
pop.
Yeah, and they pop. So
it sucks. Yeah.
No.
Anyway,
lots of torque.
I got to tell you about what people are labeling, and this is such a great label for these 2 products. So Luminous by Intera, they have skincare products that are like peptide. They're all peptide based. They have people are calling this the Botox stack.
Ooh,
I've heard that. Yeah,
because they're saying when you combine these
such a better thing to do,
right?
Yes,
like,
you're
replace it.
You're not deadening muscles, using Botox, but you use and I'll pull up the 2 products that people are talking about.
This is my favorite part of this. Not to interrupt you, but to tell you, because this has been a topic for Katrina and I. We're in our mid 40s. So all of her friends are either Botox or facelifting these days. Yeah, everyone's facelifting or Botoxing, and I'm like, I'm all for the peptide stuff. I'm like, go that route, do everything you can naturally, red light, peptide stuff, do that stuff.
Peptide cream.
So much better for you than shooting something into your face that kills the muscles to obtain a certain look. It's so crazy.
Yeah, so it's their daily firming serum and then their line lifting serum, and you combine those 2, and people are like, oh, this is like natural Botox. Like my face looks like it's like I gave myself Botox after a few weeks. So it's.
I mean, I know I'm biased, but
like,
I think my wife looks better than all of her friends by far, who have paid for all kinds of crazy surgeries and Botox. And that's all she's done. Katrina's never done any of that
Courtney's
stuff.
friends, the same boat. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're at that age
they
now,
do
right?
Parties.
We're at that age now where it's like Botox has become a regular thing, and then many of them are already exploring facelifts or going that route. I'm just like, no, man.
Did you guys see the video that is now going all over the place where it says U.S. forces striking a drug vessel off the coast?
Oh, I just saw it this morning. What
Did you
was
see that? So these were
Venezuela.
These were drug like big time drug traffickers, and they were in a speedboat, and the U.S. forces like hit them with a missile and blew them up. And I got to say this because bad guys, I get it. Bad guys, dangerous. They probably kill people. I get that whole deal, but we got to be careful when we allow this kind of stuff because there was no due process. There was no court order. It was like, and now you think to yourself, how can we get away with this? Because some people are like, it's a bad guy. You got to be careful with that because if you
who
allow,
decides it's a bad guy?
that's right.
You know?
If you allow,
and I mean, everyone in this room could probably say they were a bad guy at a
well,
moment.
if you allow the government, this is why we have due process, because you got to be careful who says who's a bad guy.
Well, has this been like a long time operation that they had like kind of reveal itself at some point?
Yes, and here's how they get away with it. Whenever they declare a quote unquote war, now they follow different rules.
Sure.
And so, the government said, we are now going to be.
This is a muscle move.
It's war against the drug cartels.
Well, didn't he come out already and was targeting? And so, I feel like they're ramping that up.
Yeah, dude. And so when you say war on whatever, what happens is they don't follow, and then they start to follow the rules of war, which is no due process. It's like bad guy, kill him.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does. You got to be careful with that.
It does say under here that this terrorist organization operating under the control of Nicolas Maduro, responsible for mass murder, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, and acts of violence.
Oh, they're bad guys for sure.
Yeah,
but
that's like real bad guys.
It is, but the part that you have to be careful.
I'm not a fan of like not to like justify drug dealing or anything like that, but it's like blowing up a boat because people are smuggling drugs is one thing. Killing somebody who is a mass murderer and doing stuff like that.
Agreed. I'm just always weary of whenever we do something like that. And there's no due process, because we're not in war. It's like there's an actual war going on, but when they declare it that way, then they follow those rules. And what can happen is, because then it becomes whoever's in charge.
I get where you're going, because here's the thing too, like it's so much of stuff.
Because you could always make the case. Like,
it's very easy to get everyone to get behind that.
That's right.
Because of that. And what I'm always cautious of is, was that the real desired outcome? Was that we went and got a coach of bad guys, or is that to get us all this support behind, like, get him. Oh, so we can sign that contract for $2 billion to build more missiles and to do more things. It's like,
I don't know.
What if that's where this is really heading, and that's the whole point of all this, definitely. I'm very, very cautious of how much I get behind.
I'll use another example. Like after September 11th, we passed these bills that said if the government says you're a terrorist,
they just take you.
They could detain you forever with no due process, not even tell your family or anybody. Which, if you are a legit terrorist, okay.
I still can't believe we passed that.
But if we have, and it's still there, by the way, we still have it. That means that they could call you a terrorist.
And none of us in here know how much it is or is not abused.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't abuse it.
People going into vans and then see you later.
Maybe they don't abuse it, but I think if you ask anybody, even if they love the current administration or the past one or whatever, you don't love all of them. There's going to be one where you're like, I don't trust them. Well, now they have the power to say, bad guy, no due process. Boom.
Yeah.
So, and you can always point to due process and say it gets in the way. You can always say that. Like, no, we got to do fast. We got to move quickly. We can't take that time. We got to get these guys. But once they get over that, now you're done. Now it's like it's
power
just
always wants to move quickly.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why we have all these checks and balances, and people get pissed off when it's slow, but you want it to be slow.
Yeah.
You always want it to be slow because then you really have to critically analyze: is this the right move?
Yeah. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, bad guys, they probably are. I'm not making the case at all. I don't know anything about them, but I'm pretty sure they're bad guys. Yeah. But I'm like a little bit like, oh man, they're just gonna. And I don't know if it was a drone launched missile or what, but you see the video of this boat going, and then
of course the part of me is like, yeah, dude,
of course,
get all these assholes.
Of course, but you could be labeled like. There's been times when they've come out with reports, and they've said things like, right wing views, or this is the biggest terror threat. And I'm like, wait a minute, or radical left wing views could be. And it's like, well, who determines, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And who determines that?
Well, that's the thing.
We need due process.
My point is that
we need less government.
I don't know. I feel like there seems to be the government is playing 3D chess, and then you get bits of information that they want you to get.
Sure, I don't have all the information.
Yeah, and so then you go, well, and I don't mean that in a positive way. So I mean that to defend what you're saying
you're right.
Is that they're like, again, you like the plan is they care about a contract going through that's going to line their pockets for billions of dollars. And hey, well, how do we get majority support? Oh, I know what we do. We point at all these bad guys over here, and then it gets everybody stirred up of, go get them. And then we go, oh, by the way, we need to pass this to do that. And we're all, do it, because we need to get more of those. When it's like, man, that person was used as a pawn to really get something else to get past. And it's like to think that
later we're supporting the terrorists,
right,
supplying them,
right.
With
So
weapons,
to
and
pretend
dude,
to pretend like because you get an Instagram clip shared for you, or that Trump put something out that you know the whole story.
I know,
come on, like
well,
on either side, whether you support or not support.
Well, what's cool about this? I don't know if it's cool. Maybe the wrong word, but it's like we found them. We have film of them. We're watching this boat speed, off the coast, and then we watch a missile hit it, and we don't have video of Epstein hanging himself. We don't know what's going on there.
Come on, that's what.
Come on,
yeah.
Come on, bro.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed off about this.
Yeah, whatever.
Stop, dude.
Yeah,
just
stop it with all that.
Oh, it's so crazy. It's nuts because obviously we've been talking on this podcast for 10 years, and I have seen I don't think I've ever seen something switch from left to right so fast in my life.
I know.
It is a trip.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. I have to check myself because obviously I lean more that direction. And so I like a lot of those narratives more than I like the other narratives, but I also am not a fool to know that that's being fed to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the same bird.
Oh man, dude, it's crazy how quick it moves now and how quick media and everything gets behind whatever direction.
You just reminded me of, did you guys watch the new Superman? Did you guys see that?
Oh,
I heard about it. My son watched it. And
yeah, it wasn't that.
It was all right.
Yeah.
It wasn't that good. But anyway, there was a scene in there that made me go, whoa, this is crazy. So this one scene where, I don't know if this is a spoiler alert, but Lex Luthor traps Superman, and Lex Luthor is trying to gain public support for labeling Superman as either like a bad guy or a terrorist, right? And so he has all these engineered monkeys who are on computers. He has like millions of them, and all they're doing is commenting on social media about and hashtagging how he's a bad superhero, he's an alien threat, this kind of stuff. And it's like, that's funny. We obviously don't have genetically altered monkeys doing that.
No,
but we do have
factories.
They
do have phone farms.
They do.
Speaking of that, did you know? Okay, the mega song Gangnam Style.
Yes.
Yeah. So apparently this has come out that it was it literally got its popularity because of bot farms. So it was nothing, and then all of a sudden came up as like millions searched, all like inorganically, and then after that took off and became like a global phenomenon because of this artificial lift in the beginning.
You could totally manufacture popularity.
But yeah, it was like such a clear example of like how that works. And then, to put that into the zeitgeist out there for everybody.
Do you guys remember? Okay, you guys remember the show Saved by the Bell? We're going to date ourselves. Do you remember that episode? I don't remember who it was. If it was Lisa or Kelly, where they're like, anything she does, everyone else in the school does. And then they tested it and she wore a pizza on her head. Yeah. And everybody else started wearing a pizza on her head because she's, that's what they do, right? You get a few like cool, whatever, influential people to start promoting something. Next thing you know, everybody's like, this is the new style.
I don't know, man. I think that kind of attention and fame is way more a curse than it is a blessing.
I agree.
I mean, look at what, you see what David Goggins is going through right now?
Yeah. I actually feel bad for him.
I mean, part of me does a little bit. The irony of us feeling bad is that we had denied ever having him on the show and so that just because a lot of his fitness advice is counter to what we've been trying to preach to people, because I don't think that the average person needs to
it's not a good message.
Yeah, to just grit their teeth through it and do it. It's like there's a much better, healthier approach than that. And so that was the only reason. Nothing personal against him. I think a lot of the other stuff he says or does is very inspiring.
And I don't know him as a
but again, look what happens. You get all this global attention and revered by so many people. And then out comes this, TikTok video from his daughter
saying he was such an absent father.
Yes.
I feel bad. I feel bad for two reasons. One, because I think he came out and he's like, I was an absent father, but I feel bad because, well, first personally, it hits me in my heart because I was an absent father for my older kids for a long time, and I worked a lot, and I thought I was doing the right thing. It really what it was a lot of pride and valuing the wrong things. My children suffered greatly for it. So I feel for anybody who did that, looks back and then feels terrible because it'll tear you up. It tears me up still to this day, even just talking about it. Yeah. So I feel really bad about it, but I also feel bad because I couldn't imagine if one of my kids went on social media and said that about me.
Yeah.
Like, It would crush me.
Oh, it would totally crush it. I think why it's got to be so, or why it's, why he's getting so much backlash is because he's the, hard is no excuse, get up, do it no matter what. And it's like, even if fixing that relationship with your daughter is hard, you're the guy that should be able to figure that out. Right? Well, you're the guy that should work hard enough or figure a way out to do that at all costs. And it's like,
it also points out just how fake the online love is. It's not real, because you look at the comments, the guy that got all these accolades, oh, he's great. Suddenly people are piling, oh, of course he's got time to do his crazy routine where he works out or whatever. He's not even a good dad. Oh my God,
Such a clear example of the mob mentality.
It's terrible.
That's why I think it's a curse to be that famous, dude, to get that much attention, because everybody
they're waiting for you
is waiting for you to fall from grace.
Yep.
And in fact, many people are trying to push you from grace.
That's right. You can't wait.
Yeah, they're not even waiting. People aren't even waiting. They're trying to find ways to get you to fall from grace, and it's like, no, thank you, dude.
Well, I was watching. I watch this show every now and then. It kind of relaxes me. It's like this aerial footage of like cities, and it kind of gives you a little bit of the history. I know I'm totally taking a left turn here. I like to do that.
Is it just music in aerial photos? Because I watch that.
It's like got a narrator, and
there's a conspiracy twist. I guarantee it.
Well, I have something to bring up later, but
they flew over the aliens base.
This isn't that. This is actually maybe Adam might like this, but so it just goes over just some of the history, and like it was going over Las Vegas, and you see it from all these cool new angles and everything. And there's this one, like it goes over. It's a trailer park, and it kind of starts talking about it, and apparently I guess he's still somewhat of an owner of Zappos, but he sold it off to Amazon and made like, I don't know, like almost $1 billion, like hundreds of millions of dollars, right? Yeah. But decides to literally just live in this molecule home, and it's this tiny little trailer park home with all these other kind of radical, weird, eccentric people, and they're like walking around.
A multimillionaire
downgrades and then goes and lives in Vegas when it's hot in like a trailer home. I was like,
weird.
What possessed him to do that? I was like tripping on that for a while.
I think he figured out what makes him happy. Good for him.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, you start thinking about that, and you're like, you hit your pinnacle. Like you hit some level that most people can't even fathom. And you realize that, like, well, what got you there? And like, and I think that he just like really pulled himself back to the roots of his whole journey.
What does he say? A trailer park with his 2 pet llamas.
Shut up.
Yeah. What's it say there, Doug?
Yeah, he was CEO, I believe.
Yeah,
and
it's create fun and a little
weirdness.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this. Look,
240 square feet.
Oh my God, that's extreme. Because
it's super extreme.
Listen, I totally get the one. I think sometimes back to like curses.
He sold it for $1.2 billion.
Yeah,
$1.2 billion.
Yeah, no, he's
so his net worth is at least $780 million.
Yeah, dude.
Living
in a freaking trailer home.
I'll say this right now, all day long. And if you asked me this 15 years ago, it would have been different. But I would trade a beautiful house all day long. So I could be near people I want to be around.
Bro, I'm an example of this.
Yeah.
The last 2 houses or 3 houses, I've downgraded each time, square footage wise. And I left Ocean View, biggest one, all of them, to be closer to family.
Yep.
Because we went out there thinking that we have this epic place. Everybody's going to want to come stay. I mean, I even put all this energy into our guest place was better than our master bedroom. And I thought I'd have friends and family and stuff, and nobody came and visited us out there. And it was like, what is this all for? Why the big property and all the space if it's just me and Katrina and Max? Nobody visits us. And so I left. And then again, and then the last one, we had a little more square footage, and I went down even more. And so I definitely can relate to realize, and to us, like when we did this place, a lot of our conversation was like, we've been blessed to have lived in 5, 6 different houses together. And they're all very, very different. Everything from condos to big houses to great locations to remote locations to city, all of it. And we're like, what are the things that we value and appreciate? Well, number one for us is to have family.
That's it.
It's like, that's number one. So we've got to be somewhere remotely close. And we didn't realize like how much even just a 20, 30-minute jog could be for people. Yeah. So it's like we need to be within 5, 10 minutes if we're probably going to see them. And then it's like, okay, What's the next layer to that? Well, how do we use the house?
Yep.
You know, what rooms are we in? You know, we've had a separate game room where we had some of that. No one ever went upstairs because it wasn't around where the area was. And, you know, is it the size of the house, or do we need more entertainment room for outside because we barbecue, we do things like that? So a lot of thought went into us finally moving to this place, and I downsized and went, and I was explaining this to my siblings about the place. And granted, it's beautiful, it's nice. We put a lot of effort into the aesthetic of it, but I mean, it's compared to what I would have thought in my 20s when I reached the level, I thought bigger, more, and that. And so I get that. I don't know if I'd ever go all the way back down to a trailer because I think there's some level of comfort that I like of some sort of space in some rooms. So that's wild to me to go that. But I totally get the, you know, why have this big giant empty mansion that nobody's in?
Oh,
and,
God.
You know, and if anything, it's a pain in the ass to keep clean because
you're not using, and it's just like to show people like what you have or what you've accomplished. Like, you know, who cares about all that? It's like what you're going to actually use it for, and like, you know, help your family get closer together and like have friends closer by, or have proximity to school, or, you know, like you're weighing all those things out. That's like,
for me, it's all about like being near people I love, and a kitchen, and maybe another area connected to the kitchen. That's where we spend all our time. We're always there. Not in your bedroom, but like a room where
big
everybody
kitchen, living space.
That's
everybody's
right.
there.
That's right.
Well, no, that's exactly how we've designed our place. That's the first time I've ever been in a place where every inch of the house is used a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know how they do those heat patterns and they show where people kind of bounce between 2 or 3, like that. Mine would be lit completely up. Like there is not a spot in that house that doesn't get daily use. That's how cool like it's got. But it has nothing to do with size. It's more about the footprint and layout, and then being close to family.
So real quick conspiracy, since you brought it up. So I was actually like, I've never even heard about this because like, and I'm big on especially pyramids that I don't know about. Like I'm always, you know, we talked about Antarctica and all kinds of like weird stuff down there, but I had never heard about an underground pyramid in Alaska. So within the Alaskan Triangle, apparently there's this unzoned area in the map where it's like there's nothing like mapped out. And apparently, according to some military like reports, and people have come out and talked about this, like there's this like massive like they call it the Dark Pyramid, but it's like apparently it's like another sort of like Area 51 type place.
Really?
Yeah, where they
look it up, Doug. Dark Pyramid, Alaska. I want to see what this looks like.
There was this reporter, and she does like a lot of the UFO kind of reports from people that have been in the military, have like some kind of clearance. And so, you know, as far as credibility goes, that's about as close as we got for credibility. But like there was this whole like show, and I think even Netflix had like kind of a documentary about people's reports of it. But apparently, like it's a big military operation.
Oh.
So I think we've kind of talked about this before because you guys have talked about your conspiracy theories. But I think the thing that now that I've embraced the tinfoil hat with you guys a little bit, I think the theory that I've come up with the most, like with the aliens and UFOs, is that, especially in the lines with what Justin is sharing right now, is that I believe it's more likely that we had way better crazy technology long time ago, and government has found some of that technology. We have things, and we're capable of doing things that most people don't know we're capable of. And that's what explains a lot of these crazy UFOs and stuff. Not that it's some alien from some other planet.
It's found technology. It's found knowledge that we're
it's
dissecting.
Found technology that we had found probably a long time ago in some of these hidden pyramids, you know, that we still can't even explain how they got built.
Yeah, and then the government just zones it off, so the public doesn't know about it.
I'll go hard hard in this direction. I now think because they talk about these interdimensional beings. I think it was demons, and I think demons influenced humans and gave them technology a long time ago and had them worship pagan gods.
Oh my
So
God.
that's the
And
spiritual side.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's what I think. Hey, just as Bible as it is.
I mean, you're
I mean, it's all up for grabs.
Yeah,
Like after
yeah. Let's
go.
2019, I
Yeah.
feel
But
like
I mean,
everything
I
got
think-
shaken up.
I definitely think we probably then all kind of agree more or less, though, that it's more likely.
It's not aliens.
Yeah, it's more likely not aliens. It's more likely we've had this technology. Whoever gave it to us, I'm not
Really
sure.
advanced civilizations that, they're not going to talk to us about.
Doesn't that seem more likely to you? Like especially like, I mean, I'm just.
Well, there's the Fermi. What is it called? The Fermi paradox? Is that what it is?
Fermi
Fermi is it Fermi paradox?
Yeah.
Look that up, Doug. If I'm saying
I know
that
what
right.
you're talking
the
about.
furry paradox?
No,
What is
not
it?
furry. Yeah, not the furry paradox. Don't Google that, Doug. You don't need to see that. Fermi, Ferm.
I.
What is it? Fermi.
Yeah.
It's the apparent contradiction between the high probability that extraterrestrial civilizations exist in the vast universe and the lack of any evidence or contact with them. And so it's like, why have we not? Why? And so I think it's demons.
Okay, demons it is.
Multivitamins for kids are typically just candy. Well, not Haya. Haya is legit. It is not a gummy candy. It's got efficacious amounts of nutrients. It's the only multivitamin for kids that we promote. Check them out. Get 50% off your first order. Go to hayahealth.com. That's HIYA health.com/mind pump. Back to the show.
Our first caller is Matthew from Canada.
What's up, Matthew?
What's happening, man?
Hi, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. How can we help you?
Good. I just want to tell you, first off, it's a big honor to be speaking to you guys. I listen to you guys daily and really respect what you guys do.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Brad,
that.
thanks, man.
So I'll tell you a little bit about me because it'll lead into my question, which will probably make it easier. I'm a father. I have twins who are 2 years old. I'm a kinesiologist and I run a small studio here in Montreal. I am the strength and conditioning coach for the men's hockey team at Concordia University. And this is what's leading me into my question for you guys is at Concordia as the strength coach, we only have the opportunity to train two days a week, Tuesday and Wednesday, back to back at 10 a.m. because of the schedule and because of schools. Hockey is a very intense sport and it's very hard to hit everything in the 2 training sessions that we have available to us, right? Like you got your strength, your power, your speed, mobility, agility, injury preventions, the biomechanics of the skating stride. I can't hit it all, obviously, in the 2 sessions. And I've been there now for 6 years and we've done very well, but I feel like I've never maximized the training I'm doing with this team to really improve performance, I would say, but really just capitalize on the training. So I was wondering, what would you guys do with the 2 blocks that you have available for the training sessions?
Is this all year? The only 2, like, does this change in season, out season, or is it like consistently, these are the 2 days, that's all we get?
These are the 2 days. This is all we get, and it's all season long until we lose in the playoffs or win.
So this is always
Pack it all in, man.
This is always in.
Yeah, I know.
So this is always in season. Then they're always playing and practicing. What's their practice? What's their practice and play schedule look like?
Yeah, the rest of the days.
So usually they have games on Friday and Sunday. Sometimes they have games during the week that really changes training up depending on when the game is. It's never consistent. Monday is usually a day off for the guys to catch back up on schoolwork. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday practice, game Friday, game Sunday type of schedule.
Yeah. The biggest challenge.
Injury prevention is about
know,
all you can do right here.
Yeah, the biggest challenge, and you almost nailed it. I think you nailed it, Matt, is that you're trying to, like, how do I fit everything in? You can't. In fact, if you try to fit everything in, you're gonna increase the risk of injury and reduce their performance. It's really going to be about mobility and injury prevention. It's actually less is more.
Yeah.
So it'll be very, very minimal with strength training, some correctional exercise and mobility. And your goal, with your background in kinesiology, would be look at biomechanics and focus on correctional exercise, really. Because if you try to push the strength training while they're in season, it's not gonna help.
Especially that high of volume.
Yeah.
They got 2 games a week. Sometimes
Plus
more.
practice.
Even then,
Yeah.
they would, ideally, I would have spread it out so it's like micro workouts, throughout the week. But like, it doesn't sound like you have that ability to program that with them.
No, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, just to put it differently, if those 2 days were focused on correctional exercise and recovery, they'd probably do better than if they were focused
Okay,
on.
I'm just gonna jot that down.
Yeah.
So I have that for my notes.
Yeah, because they're all. I mean, these are college, high level athletes. They're they're redlining.
They're big time athletes. Some of them have been to NHL development camps, rookie camps, even the main camps. So they're big time athletes.
Yeah, and so if it's focused on like active recovery, mobility, you're gonna get more out of them than you would if you were pushing performance.
The only window you're going to have to do that is like
Off-season.
off season after playoffs when I don't know how long they have before everything kicks back up again, but that's the short period of time that I would ramp up any of the intensity and volume of training. So.
And I'd probably, even if you do any kind of strength training exercises, it would keep it more unilateral more than anything. I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Boyle, but I would go through.
Oh yeah, big fan.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's just again, this is a really tough question in terms of like condensing your focus there, but I think they nailed it with this. Injury prevention is the highest thing, but I mean, you still have to include just a little bit of strength training to maintain. But with them performing and explosively moving, you're going to get a lot of wear and tear. Already. So yeah, just managing that, assessing them in those sessions and figuring out those needs that you can fulfill, I think is ideal.
Yeah, but less would be more with intensity, with driving, with pushing. It's really about like, can I get them after these strength training sessions to feel like they've recovered more? Is really the idea.
Okay,
keep them healthy.
That's awesome. I really appreciate that. It's just been an ongoing battle for the 6 years, and
I can imagine.
Appreciate you guys.
I can imagine that's a tough question, bro.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's the athletes. Besides, the talent factor. Oftentimes the athletes that do best are the ones that avoid injury the most, and the ones that get the best recovery. Because everybody's pushing so hard at that level. I mean, we're not talking about high school, or rec league. This is like high level. They're going for it every practice and every game.
I mean, multiplanar isometrics would be my first kind of thought process to maintain a bit of strength and less in terms of like wear and tear, like in recovery. Like the recovery will be pretty substantial, but to be able to maintain that kind of strength control, especially in like lateral type of poses and working on a bit of rotational type of isometrics, I think would be very beneficial.
Okay, that's awesome. That's exactly kind of the route we're going to stay on with it. I just thought maybe there was more we can get out of it to peak at the right time. Can we maintain more strength, this and that? You're always kind of looking for the edge to help with performance and help go after those titles. So that's always the ongoing battle that I'm looking at.
No, what's interesting, Matthew? Years ago, I remember they did this huge study. This influenced personal trainers, I think in the wrong way in many cases, but they had pro athletes or high-level athletes, and they started training them on instability balls and dyna discs and one-legged this and one-legged that. And what they found was a reduction in injury. Now, what they attributed it to was the instability training. But that's not what caused the reduction in injury. What caused the reduction in injury was the fact that they were training with a lower intensity and less volume. I mean, when you train on a dyna disc and physio balls, you're not driving and pushing as hard. And so these athletes were getting less injuries.
Impact.
And it was less about what they were doing. It was more about what they weren't doing, which was pushing their bodies. So if you become the strength coach that figures out how to facilitate recovery, you're going to be very effective.
Yeah, and you could tap into their nutrition a bit more. I know athletes are terrible with that, so if you can kind of lecture them a bit with nutrition, that would help.
Yep.
Yeah, it's tough with the university athletes, but we try to stay on it as much as we can,
Yep. Absolutely.
Do you guys have like recovery tools and stuff there too? What do you have? Like you have red light, you have cold plunge.
We got like we got like a lot of cold tubs. We got like the Therotex. We got red light, the foam rollers. Like it's not the state of the art, but we got a good amount of tools at our disposal.
How are the boys with using it? Are they consistent with it, or is that even that a challenge?
That's a battle too.
Yeah.
To go get through the treatments, that's a battle with the university students, I would say.
Yeah. I mean, I
But
think pushing that and holding them accountable to that is going to be as
Sleep
valuable.
is going to be so big with these guys.
I know, right?
If they get good sleep, that'll be like a game changer for a lot of them. But it's really a game of recovery. That's the game that you're playing with this level of athlete.
So what I got here, just for my notes for you guys, I got correctional exercise, recovery and mobility, less volume, and less is more, and we can put in more isometric training.
Yep.
I
There you go.
that's great.
Did I nail that?
Yeah,
got it,
I think
dude.
it's great.
Yeah.
Love that.
Okay, that's going to be the plan going forward.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it,
Yeah, I
guys.
can't wait to hear what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep us posted, Matt.
For sure.
Thanks, guys. Really, really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right, man.
Yeah, I remember when I had that realization, because you guys remember when that study came out, right? And then all of a sudden the Dyna did, everything became the rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Like building general strength is like the best thing. But it's because these athletes were training so hard that instead of doing traditional strength training, which is just too much for them.
Did I hear him correctly that they're playing 2 games, or more?
Yeah,
a
hockey's
week?
brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, hockey's brutal.
And
dude.
it's sometimes 3s during the week.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and
it's
then
so
you're also
much.
practicing.
You know what? This is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say this right now. Like, if those 2 sessions during the season
Was
were
nothing but
we're literally
recovery.
myofascial release,
That was why.
mobility, and that's it.
Why I asked him is how good are they about using those recovery tools is because here's a situation where I might dedicate that
That's all it
hour
is.
to that. We're all getting in the ice bath together. We're all doing the
myofascial
if
release.
they're not doing a good job of doing that and you have this dedicated time with them, I might be implementing that, as lame as that may sound, but that is going to take them further than pushing their bodies.
They're already
any further.
redlining without the strength training.
Yeah.
Our next caller is Danielle from Missouri.
Hi, Danielle.
Hello.
Hi.
How can we help you?
Well, I guess I'll just read my question, then I can give you guys some more context. Been a listener for a few years, and I really like your approach to fitness. At this point in my journey, I guess I need some direction. I am 5'7", 133 pounds, and InBody says I'm 18% body fat. However, visually, I disagree. I believe I'm higher due to the fat I carry around my belly area. I am trying to give myself a little grace in that area as I have had 3 C-sections, but I do believe I could be better. I lift weights 4 to 5 times a week, average 10,000 steps through walking my dog or longer walks with a weighted vest. I am also a stay-at-home mom. I've had a history of an eating disorder, started with anorexia until at some point my body had enough and I started binge eating. That was 10 years ago before having kids. Since then, I have undereaten at times to lose baby weight, and then I do end up overeating later. Right now, I'm eating around 2,000 calories a day, body weight and protein, not from shakes or bars, and little processed food. I don't feel like I could cut at all. I would end up overeating later, but I do want to lose some body fat. As for lifting, I have gotten stronger since starting to eat 2,000, but I still feel like overall I have a ways to go in strength. My squat is 115 pounds, deadlift 110, and bench 80. I don't feel like my physique is changing for the better at all, although weight remains stable, and I find myself still struggling to want to eat more. What should I be doing? Do I need to suck it up and just push through a cut, continue where I am, even though I feel like I'm spinning my wheels, or attempt to increase calories and try not to fear the fat game that comes with that?
The last one.
Yep.
It's the last one.
Got to bump calories and get stronger right now.
And you're probably overdoing everything. So you have 3 kids. How old are they?
Yeah. I guess it goes back to when I talk about the eating disorder piece of it. At one point in my life before kids, right around college, I was 220 pounds. So then I lost about 100 and then have never really wanted to like gain weight again because I fear going back to that spot.
Of course. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the context first also. You have 3 kids. How old are your kids?
9, 6, and 4.
Yeah, so you're busy.
Yeah.
Very busy. Okay. You have the history of kind of the challenging relationship with diet and exercise. You fear gaining weight. I totally get that. The scan says 18% body fat. You don't agree with that. You're trying to give yourself grace. I appreciate that. The right answer is going to be the hard answer, which is you need to slowly reverse diet and focus on getting stronger. It'll actually give you what you want.
Okay.
It'll give you what you're looking for. You're just going to have to kind of
Be patient.
You're gonna have to be patient and not be so and fight through the fear that you're gonna gain all this weight. And now you can do it in a way that's controlled if that makes you feel better. So you feel like you have your hands around it. So if you're eating 2,000 calories a day, I would have you add 200 calories and you'd stay there for a little while, get yourself stronger, wait a little bit, maybe 2-3 weeks, then bump it up again. But you have a lot of room to go with your calories. And you know what'll probably happen with this, Danielle, is you'll probably get leaner simultaneously.
About the only thing that I would probably get you to stop doing is weighing yourself, because as I reverse diet you, and I know that I'm only adding 200 calories every, say, few weeks or whatever, I know we're not going to put on a bunch of body fat, and I'm not concerned if the scale goes up 3 to 5 pounds here or there. And and that will normally mess with the client psychologically that's challenged with this. And so I would probably tell you, let's not weigh for a while. Let's just focus on getting strong, increase these calories, and be consistent. And then, we'll check back in a couple months.
Yeah, to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say you gained, let's say it was just crazy and you gained 10 pounds of muscle. But let's say you also simultaneously gained 3 pounds of body fat. So now your body weight is 146 pounds, but you're leaner. Would that mess with you? Would the scale saying 146 mess with your head a little bit?
I don't think the scale would. It would be more like, how do my clothes fit?
Okay. Well, if you build muscle, they're going to fit differently in different areas, especially around the butt area, the quads, and that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it's going to be a reverse diet and focus on strength. And I agree with Adam. Don't weigh yourself. And I also wouldn't study myself in the mirror. Your best metric is going to be the how strong you feel and energy. Those are the two things you should pay the most attention to, because you can really fool yourself by looking in the mirror as well. You could start to study yourself and, I don't like this area, and this area, I don't know about this. And that can mess with you just as much as the scale can. Have
you ever considered having a coach take you through this process?
I haven't. I mean, having 3 kids and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so my husband's the one working. I feel like I should save the money for something else. One of my daughters also has a lot of orthopedic conditions, so we end up having tons of medical costs, and a coach is just not really in the budget for us.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Can you do the reverse diet? Is what I'm saying? Does that sound like something you can do, or is that too scary?
No, I mean, I think I can do it. I guess I think a lot about the future. Then I'm like, okay, after I reverse diet, do I have to try and then cut again? Because again, I guess that goes back to the fear. Then, I feel like right now there's no way I could cut. What if I end up then reverse dieting and feel like, nope, you can't cut again, and now you have all this extra body fat from
that won't happen. Diet. You could go as slow as you want. You can go as slow as you want. You could bump your calories 100 every 4 weeks if you want. You could take your time, but I don't think you should go backwards with calories at all.
No. Especially with 10,000 steps, working out 4 to 5 times a week.
You're wearing a weight vest. You're doing the whole thing.
Yeah. You're active enough and you're training enough to support well over 2,000 calories.
Would you say then I'm probably under eating now?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
But it's not horrible. You're not in a place where it's really bad, but you're low. And so we don't want to go any lower. In fact, in a perfect world, we end up taking you to a place, say 26, 27, maybe even 2,800 calories, and then you end up landing at like 24 and leaner than you've ever been. That's where you want. So you're eating, you're satisfied, you're not eating crazy amount of calories, but you're eating good amount of calories, and you are the body fat percentage, the weight you want to be. But we got to get there by slowly reverse dieting you and getting stronger.
And really take your time. If it's scary, just take your time and really pay attention to your strength. That's going to be your North Star with the whole thing. Do I feel stronger? Am I able to lift more? That's going to point you in the right direction. Way better than the mirror or the scale, for sure.
And since the coach thing is probably not an option, let's get you in the private forum so we can at least go through this with you, so you can just check in with us as you go through this process.
And you have a home gym, Danielle? Is that where you work out?
Yeah. So about 2 years ago, my husband bought a squat rack for me, and then I have adjustable dumbbells, and he's actually getting ready to upgrade it to some other stuff for me soon.
Nice. Awesome. Can I send you MAPS Anabolic? You want to follow that? Do you have that program?
I don't.
Oh yeah, that'll be way better than I think what you're doing a lot of strength training, which you don't need. MAPS Anabolic would really move things in the right direction. I'll send that to you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for calling in.
Yeah, thank you.
You got it. That's tough. That's a tough, scary thing for someone to move out of.
Yeah. I would keep her away from the scale right now.
For sure.
Because as soon as she bumps her calories, reduces her training down to 3 days a week, she might see a little bit of a bump on the
I had a client
scale.
once, she reminded me of a client I trained a long time ago where I had her stay off the scale and her body fat percentage was going down because we would test body fat and she was getting stronger.
Yeah.
She stepped on the scale, saw if the scale went up 8 pounds. She was so mad. And I said, but you're leaner, you're stronger, you feel better.
Yeah.
And you know what she said to me? I just don't want to weigh this much.
Don't care. Yeah.
I just don't want to weigh this much. It's very difficult. It can be very difficult.
Our next caller is Ashley from Tennessee.
Hi, Ashley.
What's happening?
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. How can we help you?
So I'm a 5'1" female, currently weighing in at about 140 pounds. According to an in-body scanner where you weigh yourself, you hold the probes. When I first started, I was at about 80% of the ideal muscle mass for my height and weight, so pretty under-muscled, which is a common thing as you guys talk about. Over the summer, I increased my calories to about 1,700 calories a day. My maintenance, I believe, was about 1,500, and I also started intaking about 125 to 130 grams of protein. I was lifting about 2 times per week, playing ultimate frisbee in the summer, 1 day a week, and I gained 1.5 pounds of muscle, which is great. I think that's the first time I've ever gained muscle in my life.
That's great.
And that was only 49 days. However, in that 49 days, I also gained about 2.5 pounds of fat and my body fat percentage went up. So my clothes got tighter. So I got stronger, I could tell, but I also gained fat. And so I became really discouraged. So then I started waffling between kind of cutting, kind of not. Right now, basically, I feel lost. Since then, I have discovered, I went to my doctor. Apparently, I may have hypothyroidism. So I have a follow-up visit in a couple of weeks to do more blood work to get some confirmation on that. But I've been gluten-free now for about 6 weeks, brand new, which is really tough. So I know that maybe that's playing a role, the hypothyroidism, the metabolism. But my goals are build strength and muscle. I think that'd be really cool. But mostly, I want to lose fat. I don't want my clothes to keep getting tighter and just to be feeling uncomfortable in my body. So I've been kind of wavering. I just listened to the SBC episode. So I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to recommend. But I just think maybe my expectations were off. I guess I thought maybe I could gain muscle without gaining fat. And so, I'm wondering if maybe one, that was unrealistic. And I'm looking between, I've considered the MAPS Anabolic or the MAPS 15. So basically, I'm not someone who loves to be in the gym. I go in the gym 2 to 3 times a week, and I just have been doing 2 lifts. I've been doing push and pull, and then hopefully a leg day, which sometimes I kind of skip, if I'm being honest. I don't love legs. And so when I considered the programming, I thought it seems like either I could do the same kind of lifts, like 2 lifts every single day, like MAPS 15, or I know you guys recommend MAPS Anabolic, but it's a full body, so it would take up more time. So I guess my question is, given my current stats and goals, how do I move forward without backsliding into old patterns or sabotaging the progress I've made? And is it unreasonable to expect strength and muscle gain without fat gain alongside of it?
Yeah, good question.
Really good question. A lot of good stuff too. I want to ask one more thing though, to get more detail on when you went to your the 1,700 calories. Do you know what you were before that?
I think based on eating patterns, it was probably about 1,500 calories. But before that, I had gained a lot of weight just from processed food. I was in a happy relationship. I was doing really well. And so I think I just realized, I'm eating unhealthy. And so when I got my eating in order, I think it was about 1,500 calories, but no idea on the protein, probably pretty low on the protein.
Yeah, the reason why I'm asking that is because I didn't think that 1,700 was going up very high from wherever you were, and the likelihood that you put on that much body fat, and it's more likely that the body fat test was just a little off, or you had a little more water in your system when you took the test, and so it registered higher or lower. I doubt you increased by only 200 calories and put on that much body fat. You probably did better than you think you did.
Well, there's a couple things too, because you're moving in the right direction. But there's two factors play a role here. One, the hypothyroidism if that is indeed something that is confirmed and you treat that, it makes a big difference. Makes a huge difference with fat loss and muscle gain.
Yep.
Hypothyroidism also affects muscle gain. A lot of people don't know that. So that's one. Number two, when I talk to someone like you who's doing what you're doing, typically what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they do strength training, they don't push the strength. They kind of go in and do the exercise, but they're scared of pushing the intensity and really challenging themselves. Is that what happens with you, Ashley?
100%.
Yeah.
So I tend to lean more towards running. I focused on just the foundational lifts. So I watched a lot of the Mind Pump TV actually to kind of guide me. And I do stuff out from like my home gym. It's basically Facebook Marketplace stuff. That I got for cheap, but I watch Mind Pump TV to make sure I'm doing the lifts. I go slow, and I did a program on my own through a smart app where it was to increase my 1 rep max. But like I said, I really have very little muscle. So, I mean, I could tell, I was like, oh, wow, I could feel it on my own. But yeah, I'm still pretty low as far as like weight on the bar goes, because sometimes the bar is still all I can do for like overhead press. It's really hard.
Yeah. So if you were my client, I would, one of the things I would help you work on is feeling confident pushing the weight. And that alone would make your strength explode. The fact that you gained a little bit of muscle anyway just tells me that you were practicing the lifts, which is not bad at all. But you do, you need to also push the intensity a little bit. I think MAPS 15 would be the perfect program for you. And I want you, now don't sacrifice form. So I'm not telling you to go loose with your form, but push yourself. See how strong you can get while simultaneously continuing to increase your calories. And what you'll see is more muscle gain. By the way, the in-body scan that you got is well within the range of the margin of error. So there's a margin of error on that scan for how accurate it can be. It's never perfectly accurate. It can't be. So the best correlate you have as to whether or not you're gaining muscle is strength. So when I hear you say, I feel like I got stronger, what that sounds to me like is you're not testing it or pushing it. You just kind of feel stronger. But if you're stronger and you're pushing it, you'll know, because you're like, I did 10 more pounds, or I'm doing 20 more pounds, or I just did 5 more reps.
One of the ways that I will coach a client like you through this process is, as you go through MAPS 15, you're going to open it up. You're going to see there's going to be an exercise in there, and it's going to call for 10 reps. When you choose that weight, I actually want you to fail before that 10. That's not normal. Normally when I coach somebody, we always say 2 in the tank. But if I, make sure you can do at least 2 more, I actually am going to push you to go like, listen.
Make it hard.
Make it so hard that you may only be able to get 8. And that's okay. Stop at 8. If you can only get 8, stop at 8. But that tells me like, okay, she put enough weight on that bar that she was not getting anywhere near 10. I want to challenge that side of you. Because if you know that you're already somebody who leans to like lighter weight, I'd rather do cardio, I don't really push the strength, I'm a little more nervous that way. That's one of the ways that I'm going to build the confidence in you, is like, don't worry too much if it says 10 reps. I want you to choose a weight that's going to be so challenging for 10, you may only get 8.
Now, one last thing I'll add, Ashley, is if hiring a personal trainer in person is feasible for you, I think it'd be a good idea, just so you can feel that security of having a spotter and feeling comfortable. Because I've trained a lot. Look, there's a few things that you said that reminded me of many people that I've trained. Like, I feel like I'm getting stronger. I don't build a lot of muscle. I never have a lot of muscle. What that usually means to me is that you've never really been able to touch that side of yourself. You've never really been able to get in touch with like what it feels like to summon strength. And that's actually something you have to get used to. And a trainer can help you do that. But nonetheless, if you just follow MAPS 15 and push yourself a little bit, you're going to watch what happens to your strength.
So I get nervous about going too hard, because I tend to still be on the side of being sore right now a lot, because everything is pretty heavy. So I get nervous about pushing it just a little too far, kind of like you guys have mentioned in several episodes. So I think that's partly why I not push myself. What would be a good factor of when I'm lifting the weight? Because I can, when I'm doing my overhead press and I'm doing the bar, I keep wanting to add weight to it. So far, I can't really effectively do it and get more than like 3 reps in. So I'm like, well, if I just do the bar for 10 reps and then next time I could add weight and do 2, like, does that make sense?
Yep, that makes sense. You could also switch to dumbbells, because the barbell's heavy by itself. 45-pound overhead press for a lot of people is pretty heavy. So you could switch to dumbbells.
And if you're still getting sore from the weight you're doing right now, you're probably doing okay. I mean, normally what ends up happening with someone like you is you're no longer getting sore anymore. You can do the weight relatively easy, but then you're just afraid to go up and push yourself. But if you're still getting sore from the workouts, then you're probably doing okay right now. And just need to be patient.
And one last thing to add is that being hypothyroid affects recovery. So oftentimes adding thyroid, if that is appropriate, it like I said, it's people think of fat loss, which is true, but it also contributes to muscle gain. There is a function of thyroid when it comes to muscle health and function. So that could also be playing a role.
That's all super helpful. Yeah, I've been dialing in on the diet, trying to get the thyroid under control. And then, like I said, I go back, but I also started doing B12 and ashwagandha, or actually a methylated B complex.
Yeah,
so it has a lot of stuff in it. So that's really great. So then for someone of, my height and size, I think oftentimes I am pretty short. I'm only 5'1". I know you guys said average woman should shoot maybe for like 150 pounds, which would be 150 grams of protein. Based on just what you know about me right now, is that still what you would recommend, or should I dial it back in? Because when I look on all the different websites, they all have a different idea of what my calorie intake should be and what I should be shooting for.
Yeah, 150 grams of protein at 1,700 calories is too much protein for that low of calories. So I would have you aim for like 120 grams of protein would be plenty. But I think you should aim for about 1,850 to 1,900 calories with good strength training.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate that.
You got it.
You're on the right path.
15.
You're on the right path. Keep it up, Ashley.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
You got it. I mean, how many times have you trained a client like that where they're just afraid to push?
Yeah.
And I could tell when she was like, I don't build muscle easily, and I feel like I'm getting strong. Feel like I'm getting stronger means you don't know because you're not.
Right. It's not tangible. It's quantifiable once you start seeing the actual load increase.
Yeah. Have you guys ever had that?
That's a process.
This has happened to me so many times. I'll get this client, they'll come in, and then I'll be like, okay, what do you normally do for this weight? And then they'll do it, and I'll be like, you could add like 10 pounds. No, I can't. Yeah, you can. I'll add 10
and
pounds.
Since she's so new to this, she'll be sore a bit. And you're going to have to work through that. And I think, because we've talked a lot about that's not a good indicator of a good workout and this, but when you're brand new to the whole experience, you got to get through it.
Yeah. I mean, it's opposite advice that I normally would give, which is, hey, make sure you leave 2 in the tank. But when you have a client like that, a lot of times they have no idea what they're even capable of.
Right.
And so whatever we're doing rep-wise that day, I'm like, listen, you pick a weight that I want you to not be able to do that way, which is not normal advice I give to anybody else. But what happens a lot of times is they put a weight on and they end up surprising themselves and they end up doing it. It's like, oh, wow, you could have even went up higher.
Our next caller is Morgan from New York.
Hi, Morgan.
How you doing, Morgan?
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
We're good. How can we help you?
Okay, so I broke my fibula on a run, June 17th or something. I think I probably had some stress fractures that just finally had enough. And then I tripped and I fell, and I didn't think I fell that hard. So I walked around for 2 weeks and then realized something probably wasn't right. So long story short, I ended up in a walking boot, and I was kind of trying to do single leg moves to try to prevent some of the atrophy. But at this point, I'm out of the boot. I'm still in a brace, but I have no muscle on that leg. And so when I sent this email in, I was trying to combat that atrophy. At this point, it's already happened. So kind of just wondering, what are the best ways to fix that imbalance? Do I only do that leg and try to catch it up? Do I try to do both legs and just balance them out that way? I guess that is my question.
Heel first, map symmetry, lead with the weaker leg first. It'll catch right up.
Yeah. Morgan, are you, typically that kind of a fracture happens when you're just overdoing it with your exercise.
Which is why I just said heel.
And under eating. Is that you?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm a marathoner, so I've always run, but I've had, I've never been hurt before, and I've been running for 20 years. Okay. So I guess, I don't know.
Okay. Do you undereat?
At one point, probably, but now I would tell you no.
Okay, good.
I feel like I don't. So it came at a weird time because I felt like I was the strongest I'd ever had been. So I don't know.
Okay. Bone takes longer to strengthen than muscle. So sometimes that muscle could go and then the bone takes time to go. So there's a couple things here. One, you don't have to worry about the atrophy. Even if you didn't do what Adam said, which what he gave was great advice.
Comes back pretty quick.
Yeah, muscle memory is remarkable. So even just getting into regular workouts, that muscle will come back so fast. So that's one thing that you want to consider. Here's the second thing, and this is counterintuitive, but there's interesting studies on this. Training the leg. So you're not fully healed yet, right?
Correct. There's actually it's been annoying. I had an autoimmune disorder at some point, and so I feel like that's delayed my healing, but I'm still waiting because even though the leg never felt broken, the bone hasn't sort of built as much as they would have hoped for at my age. So yes, still delayed healing.
Okay, and I see you supplementing with vitamin D, calcium, probably throw some magnesium in there. If you work on the healthy leg, it'll actually prevent some of the atrophy, believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah, so keep working out the rest of the body.
Machines will be great for this.
Machines are good for, and then when you're ready to go, unilateral training, and then be patient, and it'll catch up very quickly.
Okay. So like I've had my vitamin D and calcium checked, and I've had a lot of symptoms of vitamin B12 being low, but I had that checked as well. Is there anything else that could be causing the delayed healing?
Yeah, I mean,
how are your calories?
Before I got hurt, when I was running my normal workouts and stuff, I was close to 3,000 every day. Now, since being hurt, since I haven't had as much expenditure, I've cut it to like 2,000, just because I'm not moving as much.
Do you take methylated B vitamins?
I don't take any B vitamins.
Okay.
No.
Try methylated because sometimes people have issues with absorption, or sometimes B levels can look normal, but they're actually not adequate. So I would go methylated B vitamin supplement, D, calcium. Continue to feed your body, and when you're ready, start strength training. And then as far as the autoimmune condition is concerned, would you mind talking a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I was 16, I did probably have an eating disorder, and I was diagnosed with hyperactive thyroid. I lost all the weight, and it was kind of bad for a while. And then they sort of got me medicated on that, and then it became Graves' disease. And so I had Graves and Graves' eye disease. And then for the last 2 years, I've been in remission, they say. So it's sort of calmed itself. I still get blood work to check in every 6 months, whatever. But yeah, so I'm in remission for that. But because of that autoimmune disorder, I'm probably just always going to have a little bit of weirdness, with hormones and everything.
Yeah. And then you avoid gluten, right?
I haven't. I've been tested for celiac and it comes back negative, but I've never gone off gluten. I
would avoid it. I mean, you're probably okay, but whenever you see any kind of thyroid dysfunction, gluten oftentimes makes it worse.
Exacerbates it.
Not always, but oftentimes. And it won't hurt.
And alcohol.
It wouldn't hurt. So I would cut the gluten, replace it with other carbohydrates, and do that for about 30 to 60 days and just see if you feel different. And if you start to feel really good, stay off of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's it. Other than that, I think you're going to be okay.
Take it easy. Rest up. Let it heal.
Yep. Get a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Do we send Matt Symmetry over to her? Send Matt Symmetry to her so she has that too for afterwards.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I was doing performance before I got hurt. And then obviously kind of had to back off a little bit. So
once you rehab and you're back to normal strength training, follow Symmetry and lead with the weaker leg first to let it dictate what you do on the other side.
Do you have access to a vibration plate, by the way?
I do not.
Vibration plates can actually, in some cases, speed up the healing of bone. So that might look into it. I would say look into it and see if that's if that's something you want to try. And it'd be pretty easy. You could just stand on it, and in some cases that does help speed up the healing of bone.
Okay. Do you mind if I ask one other random question? I know that's like the written rule in the email.
No, you're good. You're good. Go for it.
Let's break it. Yeah.
So I'm obsessed with health and nutrition and everything. So I kind of did like a holistic blood test a little bit ago, and they came back saying that my AST was too high. And so they actually said I probably had too much protein. Is that actually something to be worried about, or?
That's interesting. That's a liver enzyme. So that's interesting. Are you on any medication or anything that could cause that?
I don't think so. The only supplement I took before breaking my leg and adding in the vitamin D and calcium was creatine.
Okay. And then your urea was good. Kidney function was good.
Yeah, it was just the liver one. And then my BUN was a little high as well.
BUN can be a little high when you exercise and stuff. So I wouldn't be worried about it. But liver enzyme's interesting. That's an interesting one. So I would look a little deeper in that. I doubt it's protein.
Okay.
It's pretty rare that protein would cause. I mean, what was your protein intake?
I get close to 180 every day.
Yeah, I mean, you could try lowering it to see if it does anything, but I doubt that's causing an elevation in that liver enzyme. Typically, it's like medication, alcohol, some kind of toxin. It could be something like that. So, but that's interesting. I would look deeper into that.
Okay. I will see if I can figure something out with that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You got it.
All right.
Thanks for calling in.
Yeah. God bless.
You too.
Yep.
That's the first time I've heard someone say that high protein would cause liver enzyme to go up.
Huh.
Yeah,
Which
the
is
doctor just tells her to lower it.
Because he's like, how much protein are you eating?
Yeah.
That would be that's an interesting one. Interesting. The thing
Have we
about
had her on before?
No.
She looked really familiar.
The thing about her bone not healing though is interesting to me. That's really interesting.
Well, she did.
That's indicative.
She did drop from 3,000 to 2,000 calories too. I doubt she was making that much of a difference in her movement to drop 1,000.
Yeah, but even then, like to be that young, that's indicative of like nutrient deficiency.
Well, yeah, she had an eating disorder. So and she's a marathon runner.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean that.
I know that pernicious anemia, your B levels can look like they're high, but you have symptoms of anemia. That's why I recommend methylated B vitamins, because that could be the case when you have I think it's called the MTHFR gene variant. So I don't know.
Another example, in my opinion, of somebody who's marathon running is not good for.
It's not beneficial for her.
It tends to attract.
It tends to attract the wrong person to do it, and it's like it's not that it in itself is bad. It's just that someone who comes from an eating disorder like that, eating low calories,
they tend to go there.
doing endurance type of training like that, the repetitive banging on just not ideal.
No.
Just not ideal at all.
Pure strength training, I know, would be so much better.
Yes.
That's right. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. Walking, it's one of the best things you can do for your health, bar none, but there's a better way to approach it. Yes, you can just walk, but if you follow the right protocol, it's far more effective. Let's talk about walking.
I can't wait to hear your walking protocol.
Well, there is. There is a protocol. So, and I'll start with the first thing, right? Because just first off, let me start with this. One of the reasons why walking is such a great form of just activity is because it's low risk of injury. Now, some